So, you think you know Song Ji-hyo? Well, today we're diving into the fascinating two faces of one of South Korea's most beloved stars. We're going to unpack her intense new movie role and, of course, her completely unexpected legacy on a TV show we all know and love.
And this really is the central question, isn't it? On one hand, you've got this serious, dedicated actress taking on these really dark roles. And on the other, you have the goofy, lovable, and super competitive star of a variety show. How does one person manage to live in these two totally different worlds so successfully?
To really get it, you have to look at her two distinct personas. And we're going to start with her powerful return to the big screen in a role that is worlds away from the image most of us are used to seeing.
Okay, so her latest project is called Savior, and it is a dark, intense, occult thriller. She plays a woman named Seon-hee who's losing her vision, and she's in a village where things are, well, let's just say they're not what they seem. It's a huge departure from that bright, cheerful person fans have known for over a decade.
And the premise of this film is just wild. The whole village operates under this law of equivalent exchange. Basically, if you get a miracle, someone else somewhere in the village has to get a curse. Just imagine the kind of conflict and the impossible choices that sets up for everybody involved.
But it's how she actually approached this character that tells us so much, and it all started with a really surprising choice she almost made. So check this out. Her character, Seon-hee, is written to be the total opposite of her co-star's character, Chun-so. Think about it like this. Seon-hee's ambition is this slow burn, this quiet desire that grows over time. But Chun-so, she's all raw, fierce, primal instinct. One character slowly lets go of her conscience, while the other is driven entirely by it.
And here is the twist. Even though she was cast as the quiet, slow-burn Seon-hee, Song Ji-hyo actually went to the director and said, "I want to play Chun-so." She wanted to be that fiercely intense mother. You know, from an actor's point of view, that role just seemed way more dynamic and interesting to sink her teeth into.
But the director, he had a different vision. He talked her into sticking with Seon-hee. And it wasn't until the very first script reading, when she heard her co-star read Chun-so's lines out loud, that it all just clicked. It led to this huge realization about her own acting.
This quote just perfectly sums up that light bulb moment. She realized that the role you want to play isn't always the role you're actually meant to play. It was this humbling but super important lesson in understanding where her real strengths as a performer actually are.
And that lesson in self-awareness is so key. Because while she was figuring herself out as a serious actress, a completely different part of her identity was being built, in front of millions of people, week after week.
For an incredible 15 years, from the time she was 30 all the way to 45, the variety show Running Man has been so much more than just a job. It's been a constant in her life, a defining chapter that has shaped her in ways she probably never could have imagined.
Looking back on it now, she talks about that time with this great sense of humor and fondness. She jokes that her peak beauty days were in the early years of the show, when she was still figuring out how to present that perfect image on camera.
But Running Man also taught her to just let go of that pressure to look perfect all the time. I mean, it got so real that after she showed up to a water game completely barefaced, her own fans released an official statement, basically begging her to please wear some makeup. She laughs about it now, and says ever since then, she always makes sure to stop by the salon first.
And this, right here, is where it all comes together. These two worlds that seem like complete opposites, the serious actress and the playful entertainer, they didn't pull her apart. They actually merged to form one single, really authentic identity. So yeah, instead of having some big identity crisis, her 15-year journey on Running Man actually gave her total clarity. It let her embrace both sides of who she is, and she realized they weren't fighting each other. They were both just her.
And you can really hear it in the way she talks about the show. She doesn't call it a project, she calls it her representative work. She calls it my life. The cast members aren't just colleagues, they're my family. It's not just a job, it's a huge part of her memories. This complete and total acceptance of Running Man as her life's work has led to this incredible loyalty and a pretty powerful vow to the show that truly shaped who she is today. And her final statement on her commitment just says it all. This isn't about contracts or TV ratings. It's physical, it's absolute. I want to do it until my cartilage wears out. That is a raw, powerful promise to the show, to the cast, and to the fans.
All of this leaves us with one final big question to chew on. Her story really challenges our whole idea of what an actor's legacy is supposed to be. What if a person's true representative work isn't their most critically acclaimed movie, but the one thing that allowed them to share their most authentic self with the entire world?